afternoon, so nothing else matters, I guess. Just headed to the board meeting.
I'm in breathing is good, and I'm actually heading to the board meeting also to go hang out with you guys, kind of see what's going on. It's hey, I got a question for you. Is that my imagination, or does the sun seem brighter today than it has in the past little while? KF7DPC.
Well, I don't know. I go to work very, very early in the morning, and I come home usually early in the afternoon, so I don't notice it. Today's the first time I've been out of the house in 3 days, so it is bright, but I don't know if it's brighter than any other day. Position with the cadets and whatnot last night, so they're going to do the formal promotion ceremony tonight. Congratulations, that sounds good. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. Who knows? Come to find out, there's another ham out here, so between the two of us, we may get some of the cadets into it. Well, that would be great. That'd be really good. Yeah, you're doing great out there. Hope you get some pictures. I'll do the testing for you, 7TWT. Yeah, Dave, I figured you would, if we get enough of them ready for it. Yeah, you were going to be my first call. So, yeah, I appreciate the offer. Deal, for whatever reason, I have one of these things I can let them borrow.
Alright, well that sounds pretty cool. Nice compact little thing here. So I'm on the 143 south here, getting ready to hop on I-10. I'm following my map directions, which theoretically, from what I've seen, kind of routes me around heavy traffic, but I'm back here about half a mile, and it's backed up in all 3 lanes. So sometimes I wonder if this thing really gives me the fastest route. But according to my app, it says I'll be there at 6:03, so we'll see what happens. KF7DPC.
Well, I'm Stapley and Broadway headed south, and it's heavy traffic. I don't know why Stapley gets all this heavy traffic more so than Gilbert does, but for whatever reason it seems to be heavier. So, but I should be down there to the Black Bear in 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, I was thinking you're pretty darn close over there. My wife and I went there, I'm thinking, it's probably again 3 or 4 years ago. And I think it was one of our first times there, and we were very impressed with the food. It's pretty tasty. KF7DPC.
Four, 2006, something like that. It's been quite a while ago. And it was in Gilroy, California. We'd gone to the Garlic Festival there and wanted someplace to eat, and that's the first time we'd been to one. So when they opened up in Arizona, we were kind of excited. And, yep, we like them too. We teach a class, technicians level class. There's a lot of captive people out here. That's what's needed. I wished I had a class when I did it. You know, I was just trying to memorize answers and stuff. It'd be nice if there had actually been somebody in front of me explaining what exactly the questions mean and the answers mean.
Wow, what a unique idea, huh? I know Thunderbird does it. Thunderbird does classes every so often. But, yeah, you know, we're not affiliated with a club, and I'm definitely not affiliated with a club, so, you know.
There, it smelled like garlic for a week, I think. We had garlic chicken wings and garlic french fries and garlic this and garlic that, and it was fun.
I'm a fan of garlic, so that does sound, well, pretty awesome actually, and very tasty. So, I actually have a clove of garlic sitting on my kitchen counter right now. KF7DPC.
All right, my man, you take care of you. If you need anything, you be sure and holler. You know how to get a hold of me. I think I'm going to clean my clear glasses before I go in, and then I'm going to sign off as well. So, you have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Whiskey 5, TSC. Go ahead, Gary. That line runs real good. Needling system works excellent on it. Okay, good. Yeah, I tried to call you several times today, but I guess you were out trying it out or something. No, I just realized I didn't have my radio on. Well, that'll do it too. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta have it on, I guess. Yeah. Well, out here running around, just got my daughter home. I had to give her a ride from where she works to home. So I'm doing that, and then I'm gonna be in for the night. Well, you be careful out there on the road.
Be like a lot of these other guys on the radio and just, you know, relax, talk on the radio whenever I want, do whatever I want. So I've been doing a lot of research and planning for that, probably January or so. I'll still stay a member of this club and attend the meetings and stuff. I work off I-17 in Bell, so it's a relatively easy drive down to the meetings. Of course, the drive home would be interesting, but hey, I don't mind driving. KF7DPC.
Yep, I got a friend that did kind of the same thing, except he moved to, oh goodness, he moved down to San Manuel and got a spectacular buy on a home down there, and he's retired Navy, but yep, good thing when you can take that equity and pay cash and not have to do anything but just pay taxes on the place for however long. So anyway, Brian, I'm going to see you here in about 20 minutes. It'll be 6:03 and you should be here. I'm just pulling in the parking lot now, so we'll talk to you when you get here. N7 CCW.
Alrighty, sounds good. My app actually updated to 6:06, so we'll see how accurate it is. And I'll see you there, 73 KF7DPC. Clear and listening.
Very good. I'm terrible on names, and that's amazing to me that you can come up with all that. How you doing this evening? I just came in from walking the dog and got me a nice cold red beer, and thought I'd come in here and see if there's anybody chatting.
Well, I am actually horrible with names. It just happened that I was going through my notes on my phone, and I saw that I had made a note about, you and I had talked a few weeks ago about Yellowstone trip and the wintertime, the backcountry and all that. And I did a little bit of research, and I found some trips that would be affordable for me, but they actually don't go into Yellowstone. It's like on the outskirts, down Grand Tetons and that area. All the trips that actually go into Yellowstone are way out of my price range. So I guess that trip is probably not going to happen, even though I'd love to do it. I know you and your son are talking about it, so hopefully you guys can do it. KF7DPC.
Well, hit me with a number, and I'll tell you what it's out of touch for me too, and I won't have to worry about it.
Well, outside of the park for like a 3-day trip backcountry, snowmobile and other stuff was like $1,500-ish. And inside the park, they were going, $3,000-4,000 and up. And it's like, yeah, I'm not doing that one. KF7DPC.
Wow. I guess I ain't either. It's one of them bucket list items that might never get checked off. But yeah, my son's going through some stuff right now too. He was in a real bad car accident years ago, and that's starting to wear and tear on him. He's trying to get disability, so it'd probably be way out of his ballpark. But who knows? Might just pull out the credit card and say, "Let's go," but then pay for it for the next 10 years.
Yeah, well, if he's going through some issues with a old car accident, a snowmobile ride might not be the best thing for him. And, and then going into credit card debt. Personally, I have a hard time doing that, even though I actually did sign up for a credit card, the first one I've had in 15 years. But I'm going to go very, very easy on using that thing. KF7DPC.
Well, we all have our dreams, right? So if you don't have dreams, you don't have drive to get there or whatever. But that's something we've talked about for years, but I had no idea it would cost that much. When that $3,000, do they stay out and do they have cabins they go to and sleep overnight or something?
I actually did the research shortly after we talked, and so my memory is fading, but I believe that cabins, you go into the park, stay in the cabins there, and then you take like day trips and hang out there. I don't know. I'm thinking it might be worth it almost to use the credit card because that is a once in a lifetime thing, But so that would be on the top of my bucket list right after winning the lottery. KF7DPC.
Yep, I gotta agree with you. It's sure sounds like fun, but I don't know. There's always other things to spend money on, I guess. And like I said, my son's going through this disability thing, and I don't know. And I had a lot of trouble with my neck lately. I was in a real bad motorcycle accident, and it's getting arthritic. That's why I'm kind of anxious to see how Matt makes out with his. He was telling me he wants me to talk to his surgeon because my neck is just. Well, I drove the motor home up to the Grand Canyon, over to Petrified Forest, and down last week. My granddaughter was here, and just driving that really bothered my neck, and I go, this ain't good. I was fighting the wind too, I was gripping the steering wheel like I was trying to tear it in half. So I don't know if that's what caused it or not, but it's still sore. N8ANV.
Yeah, that sounds like it could be it. I know how it is handling the winds there. Now, as far as Yellowstone, I don't know if you've been there before, but if you don't want to afford the winter trip, the summer trips are a lot more affordable. Just go up there, and my wife and I did that a while back in mid-90s. We actually stayed at the north entrance in Granger, I believe it is, or Gardner, one of those. And we stayed a little bit at breakfast, and then every day we'd get up and drive into the park, and drive around, check out sites. And, I still remember one morning we had gotten up really early, and we were in the park, and the sun was just coming up, and we came over this ridge, and it was cool outside, even though it was September, and you could see the steam rising from all the hot pools and everything. I mean, just we could see 20, 30 miles, and there's just steam rising everywhere. It was just an awesome sight. But I would definitely make the effort to go up there to see Yellowstone. It is, no matter what time of year, it is well worth the effort to go up there and plan on staying a week. Now that I think about it, wow, this was back in the 80s, early 80s. We actually did a family trip up there. It was actually a backpacking trip. We hiked 13 miles into the back country, and that was just incredible. Well worth it. KF7DPC.
Yeah, I've been there 3 times. The first time we came through, my youngest granddaughter was traveling with us, and we were coming from the west going east, and lo and behold, all the campgrounds were full, and they wouldn't open up the other campgrounds because it was too early. Oh, that really upset me. So we ended up going right outside the park. They call it 3 Mile, I think, to the east towards Cody, and there's a national forest park there, and we pulled in there, and it was pretty nice. Anyhow, next day we're getting ready to go back into the park, and I had the awning out, and my wife says, "Aren't you going to put the awning back?" I said, "Nah, it's not going to storm or anything." I says, "Well, I'll tie it down, just make sure." And I started going over to tie it down, and all of a sudden here comes this wind picking up. I goes, "What the heck, where's that from, I'll take a break here. And I said, "Well, I better put it in then if it's going to get a little stormy," and did that. Got in the truck, took off around the loop, got halfway around the loop. My wife says, "Oh, I forgot the park map." So went all the way around the loop, came back, and that wind had picked up, trees were swirling. We came back, and there's an 80-foot pine tree laying on our trailer in A&V.
Surprise! Your vacation just changed. Wow. That's amazing. Driving around the park, last time we were there was 25 miles an hour, so it takes forever to go around those loops and stuff. So, and talking about the wind, I remember the first time that I drove across Wyoming, that Interstate 90, and I was looking forward to it. It's like, all right, I get to see the rest of Wyoming. It's going to be awesome. Well, that's the first time I realized that Yellowstone, with all its mountains and pine trees, is pretty much the only portion of Wyoming that has that. The rest of Wyoming is not very treeish and very windy, like 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So, but wow, that's amazing. KF7DPC.
Yeah, I even have a wedge of that tree, and it's really weird. It was on an embankment to the next to the trailer, and when it fell on the trailer, it whipped on the end of it and bounced, and then came down again beside the slide out and went under the slide out and literally tried to pick the trailer flipping over. Knocked a big hole in the slide out and everything else. So the Forestry Service came with crew, and they had to cut a wedge out of the bottom of that tree to release that spring effect, and the lady there says, right there's your good wheel chalk for your trailer. So I said, I grabbed it, I said, that's a good souvenir piece. So we went and wrote the date, time and date and everything on it. And then I ended up showing my granddaughter how to burn it in with a magnifying glass. And we have that out here in the mobile home. That's a souvenir and a half, N8ANV.
Yeah, that's definitely quite the souvenir, that's for sure. So, trying to think. When we hiked into the backcountry, our family, we were avid fly fishermen. So we got to our campsite, we set up a camp, the tents, everything, ready to go, and then we all grabbed our fishing poles. We went out fishing, and we found the river, and then we all spread out and started fishing. And one of the guys in our group, he started yelling down at us for some reason or another. And typically you don't want to make a lot of noise when you're fishing. It's like, what is he doing? And so finally he got close enough to us. He said to reach down and feel the water. It's like, what are you talking about? So I reached down and feel the water, and it's well over 100 degrees. It's like, there's no fish in here. We've been out here for 15 minutes fishing, and there's not going to be any fish. And we ended up hiking upstream, about half a mile upstream, or upriver. It's a good sized river. It's a good 30 feet wide or so. There were 3 hot pools that were feeding that river, and above those hot pools, the water was ice cold. It was quite interesting. We ended up going swimming instead. We went downstream where the water was a little bit cooler. KF7DPC.
That's the only place you can catch your fish that's already cooked for you. Oh, shoot. You wouldn't think of that, would you, normally? I mean, you just wouldn't think a river could get hot like that. But it's amazing. I guess that they keep saying that thing's a ticking time bomb. If that ever goes, we're not going to live through it. N8ANV.
Yeah, that and the San Andreas, and the ring of fire around the Pacific. There's not much you can do about it, so you just enjoy the view, and if it goes, it goes, and you do what you can do. So, but I did. At one point, I used to get email updates from the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, but that's been a while, so I don't get those updates anymore. KF7DPC.
The audio, I'm going to stop talking here for a second, dead key, just to see if you can hear that. I hear it on your signal, and I just wonder whether it's a repeater or what's doing that. N8ANV.
I don't hear anything. Let me switch over to the other frequency. Hold on a second.
His power supply or whatever.
That's my exit here to head over to the board meeting. So it was nice talking with you again and sharing stories. So I will say 73 KF7DPC.
Okay, Brian, I don't know. Was you on the UHF machine just now? Like power supply or whatever. All right, take care. Have a good evening. Nothing serious. N8ANV.
KF7ZPC.
Testing 1-2, WW6F, clear.
Sounds good, Fred. KI7 RPM.
Just listening to Max's speaker mic. That's probably what I'm going to get for mine. Okay, I'm clear. Thanks. WW6F.
Oh, not a problem. KI7 RPM.
Security cats are all coming inside. Neighborhood's quiet over here. Hey, so you survived Wally World? Okay, I hope it's Bluetooth and into your radio. That would be cool. All right, buddy. K7 CQX Phoenix standing by. For anyone out there on the internet or the local valley residents or visitors. Oh, KG9KJE. Hello, hello. Woody here, over.
Yeah, this is Art. I'm listening and saying hi, and having a good time while I listen to the ball game.
Oh, you're listening to what? Yeah, Art. Good deal, Art. Couldn't remember right. There's getting to be so many of them. I'm going to have to make a big old list here. Yeah. Very good. Who you listening to? What is it?
Houston, Tampa Bay. Right now, Tampa's leading by 4-0.
Maybe football. I don't know who Tampa Bay is. I know that'd probably be Florida.
Right, that's the, I don't know if they're the Devil Rays or just the Rays, but, yeah, they're leading Houston out 4-0 in the 6th inning. And, no, I don't listen to football, but I love baseball.
Yeah, baseball been very, very good to me. Remember that?
Oh yeah, Sammy. You know, they announced today that the Cubs are letting Joe Madden go. He's probably going to be managing the Los Angeles Angels next year.
I don't know, Joe. I don't know any of those people. Anyway. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, I was outside cleaning up some coax and stuff. I had excess coax runs out there I got rid of. Old dead runs and this and that. And, you know, a little bit at a time, a few minutes at a time, I'll eventually have things the way that I want them. Nah, probably not.
No, I don't think so. You never get finished straightening out and finishing fixing up. I just put up my 20 meter. I just built and put up a 20-meter invert V today, so maybe tomorrow I'll be able to contact the Flyers Club.
Yeah, you'll probably, get on. See what you can do with it. You're going to be running 100 watts?
Yeah, I'm running 100 on, I got an Icon 7300 I just picked up.
Oh, yeah, you said that at lunch. Yeah.
You ought to make some contacts with that. Are you a CW guy? You probably make some of that too.
Well, my key is in the box somewhere in the car, so pretty much out of luck on CW for a while. I'm buying a trailer here so that I'll be able to move out of my camper into a permanent home here probably before the end of October, and then I'll be able to put up my horse hens.
Oh, that sounds good. Be able to put up what?
I have what's called a horse fence antenna. It's like a strap with a braided wire in it for the radiator, and it's 63 feet on each side, so it's good for it'll tune on anything from 80 all the way up to 6 meters.
Yeah. All right. There you go. Yeah. Good deal. I'm just trying to keep cool. It got kind of warm in my house and I refused to put the hair on.
Well, I haven't refused the AC at all since I've been here. In fact, my electric bill this month is $79.
Yeah. Yeah, KAVEB, did you find a little text screen there? Maybe you can give us your name or something there. I can't remember your location. KH Victor Echo Bravo. Just give us a little text in there. This is Woody. I'm talking to the crazy man up there, New River. KJE.
Yeah, the first part was KD9. And I got a new neighbor here in the camper park. He's him from California, but he's not set up or anything. He's just here. Enjoy.
After here, I didn't get any more. After you said just here. Oh, you're not mad at him, are you? Because he's from California?
No, I don't have any problem with California. My grandson was living there until he's going to move back to my house in Illinois. But I enjoyed I stayed in California a couple of weeks, about a year and a half ago, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Art. Okay, Art. Anyway, well, maybe VBE just connected in and he just wants to listen, or he just, he's just monitoring and he's in and out, like me most of the time, in and out. Yeah, so, all right. I might have to scare up some kind of a snack here pretty soon. I don't know. And see what's on the tube. Some kind of movie. I bet you there's some kind of movie available on that thing.
Yeah, probably. I don't get live TV much here because the reception isn't very good. But I do get on the Roku, and I can watch CBS. I spend a lot of time in the evening watching old Perry Mason reruns and some other shows like that.
Yeah, that was good. Old Perry Mason and those shows. Gunsmoke, Paladin. CBS, that's all I had when I was a kid. We had no more networks. We had one channel, Channel 3 out of Champaign, Urbana. And my dad didn't, he didn't put up no antenna for Chicago. I guess we could get Chicago once in a while. But he wouldn't put it. He had an antenna in the attic. And wanted to, in the damn upstairs. That's all he wanted. And then he got his ham. We got our ham licenses, and they, I don't know. He didn't even put any antenna on the tower either. They should have put something on there. I can't remember. They never used cable. He said cable. That's stupid.
Yeah, you're supposed to, the whole deal with the cable was you were supposed to pay for the connection and you don't have to have any commercials. Now you pay for the connection, you get the commercials too.
Yeah, I remember they said later on we're going to have pay TV. That means you got, then they had a box on top of the TV where you put money in it. That's how their deal was. You're going to have to put money in a box on top of your TV. Yeah. Anyway. Pay TV, alright. Yeah, you're up there at New River, so you need an antenna outside, probably up a ways. You could probably get it, couldn't you? South Mountain?
I got an antenna outside, but the picture comes in, it pixelates a lot, so it's hardly worth watching. But I can get just about anything I want on the Roku. I pay $9.99 a month for the CBS service with no commercials. So I can watch CBS network TV or anything else that I can find. I found a service called Pluto that it's almost like DirecTV. It's got all kinds of channels and it's free. And I go along with that. I like that price.
Yeah, it's right in there with the remote price, isn't it? Free. Yeah, I think that's what I got on my network radio, Pluto TV. I can watch TV on my handheld.
Yeah. Well, I bought it into the XM satellite radio. When they first came out, I got one. And then, about 2004 or something, they were getting ready to combine Sirius and XM together. XM was trying to get enough money together to buy Sirius. And so they offered a lifetime subscription for $400. Well, I jumped on that. I bought that, and I haven't had to pay for satellite radio ever since.
That would be a hell of a lot of nice radio for me to pay $400 for it.
Yeah, well, it's normally about $20 a month, so that paid for itself a long time ago.
Yeah, I think we got Sci-Fi on Pluto TV right now. I'm watching it on my handheld. I had to put my glasses on though. Oh, it's From Russia with Love playing right now.
James Bond?
I didn't get your question. I gotta turn the movie down. There we go. What was your question?
You said From Russia with Love. Is that the James Bond movie?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll let you get back to the TV, and I'll just sit here and listen some more. It's 89 KJ out.
Yeah, I need to get something to eat. Anyway, sorry for the feedback, but I gotta turn that on. When I don't use the network radio, I gotta have the monitor on to hear you, and then when the monitor's on, it'll feed back when I transmit. So I can turn the volume back down. Yeah, I'll figure it out. You know, I'll get the network radio back on. For some reason, they won't let me connect right now, but I can connect with my handheld. So I think I put the password in wrong, and I didn't fool with it. Okay, maybe VEP will be in there and say hi to you, or EVP will come on and say hi to you. Paul's back from Ohio. Anyway, K7CQX listening only for a few here.
7GDU, W7EFQ. Well, I have a place to put it, but I'm not going to put it there. First of all, the internet is way too slow up there. And secondly, I like being up there, especially in the summer. It's 15 degrees cooler than it is here. Okay, Jeff, K7JG, not certain of the last letter, W7EFQ.
W7EFQ, this is Kilo Bravo 7 Juliet Tango Tango. Sorry about that, Paul, if I wasn't clear enough. KB7JTT. Anyways, everything is going pretty good with myself. I am enjoying the cooler weather that we're having here. But I'm sorry I wasn't able to stay for that lecture last time. It sounds like it would have been really interesting. I am going to kind of bug out at this moment in time because I'm actually still at work, but I brought my radio with me so I could at least check in. But hope everyone is doing well. 73, KB7JTT, back to net control.
Okay, K7JTT, W7EFQ. Well, thank you for checking in, Jeff, and really appreciate it. I think that was KB7JTT. I'll have to take a look at that. Ed, in E7S, W7EFQ.
W7EFQ in the group, WU7S. Yes, that was a really fine program, and I have been thinking of some kind of something to, when I'm out of town in Payson, I can get back into this net. Bill has some good ideas in that area, but we're still thinking about it. We'll work something out here. Anyway, haven't been too radioactive this last week. I haven't been too radioactive for quite a while. Been pretty busy doing all kinds of stuff. So anyway, back to net, WU7S.
Okay, thank you. And WE7S, W7EFQ. Well, we can discuss it more. My neighbor up north is very, very knowledgeable on the remote stuff, and he's got a couple friends of mine operating from basically my location up there from California. So you may want to discuss it with him a little bit. He's retired CIA. He's very, very knowledgeable digitally. Okay, Gene, K0VN, W7EFQ.
Yeah, W7EFQ in the group K0VN. Good evening to everybody, and that second or third or fourth presentation was excellent. Pete and I sat next to each other, and Pete's comment was probably as appropriate as any. I don't think we're going to be doing anything like this between the two of us. I was trying to figure out the dollars in my head, and those flex radios or K3s or whatever he had there, or a combination, those were the least of their expenses. But it brought up a number of points, internet and distance, which would be very limiting factors. K0VN, back to net.
Okay, thank you, Gene. And I have to appreciate that. I have a Flex 5000 that came out of a remote station in, I think it was Colorado, and he was operating it via the internet, and he's upgrading his station up there and sold off this one that I purchased. and it was working fine, but he wanted a better radio, and as long as he could afford it, I was pleased. Okay, Jim, AG7AU, W7EFQ. Hello, Jim, AG7AU, W7EFQ.
AG7AU, this is Jim. I didn't get a chance to catch the meeting due to physical problems. I'm going to try to get somebody to help me get to the meetings. But anyhow, I'm getting ahead in my medical. We saw the PA today, or excuse me, yesterday, which helps us get all of our stuff going. This is off to back to the net, AG7AU.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Thank you for checking in. Really appreciate that. And I do know, and I do understand what you are going through. You know that. Okay, any new check-ins? W7EFQ.
KG7SW. WB788.
Okay, recognizing Greg and Puddle. Okay. Eric, come in and say a few words.
Alright, I say a little words and got the handheld today and had 2 days off and singing about making a part for the milling machine. This is a handle. I'm gonna put a little insert. It's I want to put a set screw in there and hold it down that way, and maybe I had the radio going a little bit today and scanning and this join the day. Back to net.
Okay, thank you for checking in. And I understand milling machines, lathes, and all that stuff. Okay, Arturo, did you get anybody finally last night? WB7ATA, W7EFQ.
W7EFQ and the net. Good evening, Paul. No, there was a disaster last night, okay? I don't think we'll have to repeat it again, okay? I was there before 5 o'clock with all my equipment all set up, and if I call you, I stayed till about almost 7:30. Nobody showed up. At the meeting, I had 3 individuals. They expressed their interest. They would be there. A couple more, they said maybe, not sure, but nobody showed up. And I don't know if I don't get any replies, because I have another class scheduled next Monday. If it's going to happen again, I'm going to release the rooms because I don't want to take advantage on it. So, but anyway, Paul, that's what I have to say now. I don't know how we can reach in the people they interested, in the class. So I don't know at this point. See, last time it was different. Kelly, he's the one that took all the sign in and everything. So when I started the class, I knew how many I had. I knew I had 6 of it, and they stayed till to the end of it. At this time, it was the commitment was only verbal. It was not, in writing. So I guess they were not under the under the impression they had to show up. So, but anyway, that's the way it went last night, and I don't want it to repeat again. So, but anyway, next go around, I'll mention how the Hamfest went up up in Basin, the good and the bad I got. W7EFQ, WB788.
Okay, W7EFQ. Well, I'm sorry there was no show. Kelly called me or actually sent me an email asking who's the instructor and so on. And I told him that, and I told him you had done a lot of research on further training for CW, and I thought for sure he was going to show up, and obviously he did not. Okay, Pete, W7GDU, W7EFQ. Yeah, W7GDU. Well, that's too bad, Arturo. After all that work, people didn't show up. Yeah, maybe having them sign up for something is kind of a necessary step to make people feel sort of obligated. Well, maybe that'll all get straightened out there. Yeah, I haven't been doing much, just listening on the 40 meters. That's about the only thing that's got much activity anymore once the sun goes down, and that's getting down, the days are getting shorter finally. But that's about all we've been doing is listening around. Been doing a little tiny bit of cleanup, old magazines and stuff like that, trying to cull the herd there a little bit. But not too vigorous. So back to that W7GDU. Okay, thank you, Pete. W7GDU, W7EFQ. Okay, well, a lot of people have been bringing magazines down to the club and putting them on the table for giveaway, and a lot of them are disappearing. So you might think about that. K7JTT signed. That was Jeff. Ed, WU7S, W7EFQ.
It's W7EFQ in the group, WU7S. I had a quick question. Has Walt come through with a program or plan for the dates for the dates for the Ham in the Park yet? I'm kind of interested in that because I'm planning on hooking up the TS440 in the truck and making it mobile. Anyway, that's about all I have right at the moment. Back to net, WU7S.
Okay, thank you. And WU7S, W7EFQ. Well, on the last blast I gave out about a week ago, I attached the blast, or attached the schedule up through the middle of December, and he came up with the rest of the year, or rest of the fiscal year, if you want to put it that way, not really, until next summer, and I'm going to put that out at the next blast. So if you look at your blast from a week and a half ago or so, you will see an attachment with the dates and so on that I sent out. Okay, anything else, Ed?
No, that was it, Paul. Back to you, WU7S.
Okay, thank you, Ed. WU7S, W7EFQ. Okay, and one of our frequent attendees is Gene. Up next, K0VN, W7EFQ.
W7EFQ is K0VN and everyone in the group. Ham radio-wise, I've been playing with that hotspot and figuring that out on Fusion and how that works. Slightly confusing because Wires X is proprietary to Yaesu, and Yaesu Fusion is somewhat generic, and so you have to link things up, you have to use some bridges, and I got to figure out about those, but I did get it figured out and worked on America Link last night, had a lot of fun with it. Otherwise, not doing too much ham-wise. We'll say 73 to everybody, and like I say, Pete and I are probably not going to be putting up a remote station anytime quick. We should have asked the question of how much money they've got tied up in the antennas, because the radios, I would guess, would be somewhere between 4 and 5 cents on the dollar for what they've got going. The other question, I never heard anything about Lightning. K0VN back to net.
Okay, thank you, Gene. K0VN, W7EFQ. Well, I'm not certain if they have experienced any lightning. I know I have once here in the 4 years I've lived at this QTH. and it did a lot of damage, but I even have some RG-213 coax that was blobs of plastic and blobs of copper. But that was 35 years ago. Thank God I have not had one since. Okay, Eric, KG7SWU, W7EFQ.
KG7SW. I guess join the weather and not much. Just doing stuff around the house. Nothing went. I didn't make any projects lately with ham radio yet, and maybe eventually I will. Back to that.
Okay, thank you, Eric. KG7SWU, W7EFQ. Okay, well, Ham in the Park is this coming Friday, just a few days from now, at 10 o'clock at the 86th Street and Thomas Road on the northeast corner, and we all park on 86th Street there and take the closest Ramada there. So please come, and I know you're within walking distance, Eric, so we'll be happy to see you there too. And your dad. Okay, Toto, WV7ATA, W7EFQ. You want me to advertise it again for next Monday?
W7EFQ, WB7AT, yes. And also just put, if somebody has interest, to just include my email address there, so if somebody just is really interested, just to send them an email, okay, so I'll know for sure. So, but I hope somebody will show up. And the activity I had last Saturday, about the Ham Fest and the soda, Ray W7 USA picked me up at just a little bit after 6 o'clock in the morning. So we got the basin. It was just a little bit after 8 o'clock there. So it was a little bit early, but people, they were just setting up stuff, which we had the opportunity to get a first pick. So anyway, everything I saw it. I didn't need it, but I gotta have it. So what I ended up buying was a beat, if you're listening. Why don't you show up at Ham in the Park and bring your lino, because I got another one over here, and I would like to just check what you have, Amirisa, and see if it's a real lino. But anyway, the guy had this thing all torn apart, so I thought it would be just for parts. But he said, no, it's all complete. I just took it apart so they wouldn't flap around. I said, so, okay, and he was asking about $50. I said, that condition, I don't think so. So we sell for $30. So I bought it along with, I got right here, I was listening to you guys too. It's a little MFJ 2-meter receiver, a little tiny one. And it was pretty good, crack us a little bit and need some TLC, but it works. And also, the guy had a Radio Shack, an HD, 2 meters. He said, no, this one doesn't work. He said, you can have it. Okay. So include in the deal that one there and this radio. So when I took it home, I thought they had the power pack, which it was not. It was a power case with a double ace batteries in it. Well, all 6 of it, they were all corroded. It was a mess. But because I have another HD that I use here also on the net, I use that battery pack. And so I turned it on, cracked a little bit, but it did receive it, so it was there's no frequency program, so I programmed this channel, this. We'll get some action out of it. Okay, hey, thanks in advance. So, W7EFQ, WB7ATA. I think I did talk too long.
Okay, thank you, Arturo. Last call for check-ins, and then we'll go through the list one more time. W70FQ looking for more check-ins. Guess that answers that. Okay, last time around, Pete. W7GDU, W70FQ.
Yeah, fine there, Paul. Thanks for hosting the net again. Great job as usual. And Arturo, you have more fun at swap meets than anybody I know. Yeah, you managed to pick up orphans there and bring them back to life. And it is funny what people will sometimes do to equipment. The corroded batteries are one thing, but manhandling the bug parts is sort of another thing. But we hope to get to Hammond Park this Friday also. The weather looks like it's going to be pretty nice, cool down a little bit, and that'll be fun to see what people come up with. I don't have any great experiment there. I might bring my little 450 antenna on my piece of bamboo, but it's fun to stop down there. So I think Gene and I have saved a lot of money by not building a gigantic remote station. So just think of the money we're saving there. 73 to everyone. Have a good week. W7GDUs.
Okay, thank you, Pete. Really appreciate your check-in. And yeah, it's not an inexpensive thing for remote stations. I will have to admit that. You have a lot more than just a station. You have the storm control stuff you have to deal with, landing storms and so on that you have to deal with remotely, and so on. Anyway, thank you for checking in, Ed. WU7S, W7EFQ.
Yeah, W7EFQ in the group. This is WU7S, and I agree at probably a lot more money than I could round up to put up just one of those towers. But they seem to have no trouble financing or rounding up the bucks for that. More power to them, but I think I'll just stick with my little Yagi up on a Rome 25. It seems to work pretty good for me. With that, I'll say 73 all around and go back to net. WU7S.
Okay, thank you, Ed. WU7S, W7EFQ. Well, I'll talk with my neighbor more and see what the investment is for anybody that wants, like you, Ed, that want to put a station up on the hill when you're in the valley. So I have a little bit of interest in that myself, and I know he was successful in getting my neighbor KW6J Brian on the air remotely from California, and Brian has been a friend of mine for well over 50 years, probably closer to 60 years. In fact, it is 60 years. So anyway, let's go down to Jim. AG7AU, W7EFQ. Gene is signed off. Oh, looks like Jim is signed out as well. Eric, KG7SWU, W7EFQ.
Alright, about I noticed Miracle Link, the Fusion thing, I noticed it's pretty busy lately and stuff, and that's pretty much it, and I guess back to net.
Okay, thank you, Eric. And thank you for checking in. And the total is checked out. So this is W7AFQ, Net Control Station for the Scottsville Amateur Radio Club, Tuesday Night Net. Signing off and returning the repeater back to normal operation. 73 zone.
Thank you all, and I sense another worked all states in your log. Next, K7RQM. Robert, how about you? What do you have for us tonight?
Good evening, Andrew. This is Robert, K7RQN, and thank you for taking the net again. And just getting ready to go up to Jack's for Arizona QSO party. And I'll be coming up Friday morning, and I'll probably stay until at least Monday morning, and then we're gonna go east for a while. So anyway, that's what's happening over here. Back to you, K7RQN.
A lot of people are going to enjoy the QSO party, it sounds like. Next, AD0X. Joe, how about you? What do you have for the net tonight?
Good evening, Andrew, and the net. This is Joe, AD0X. Not much. I trying to get the latest version of FL Digi working, and it seems to be a problem with my Windows 10 upgrade. Hi. And I'm trying to debate how to go about this, wait for the next one, or try to trace it through, and I think it may be flagged as a illegal application or something like that. There was a virus that went around earlier masquerading itself in JT Alert. My virus checker, the default in Windows 10, picked it up. So doing the computer problems, that's about here. Back to the net, AD0X.
Joe, I've actually run into that before, where there is some software for DRM radios that DMR radios that has an explanation when you download it saying, no, this doesn't have a virus, we scan it every day, and it's a false positive, so maybe that's what you got. Next, KI7LIK. Douglas, how about you? What do you have for us tonight?
Yeah, he gave me a gift certificate thing from Amazon for Elmer and him because I did such a good job. They're going to be on emergency health care duty.
K7AEL, W9GRG on 88.
W9GRG, K7AEL.
Getting to you, sir. You busy?
Sorry, buddy, I didn't catch that last one. Can you repeat?
Do you have a couple minutes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I'm still trying to find you an operator to help out with the grinder. What might end up happening is Chris, one of my net controls, will you guys probably need the tag team. But I just want to give you a heads up on that. What type of setup are you bringing to the venue? We are going to be literally in HT range or even in paper airplane range. That's how close we're going to be.
Well, it depends on what I need to do in terms of, I don't know if you still wanted us to have signalings and whatnot for that.
I will leave that up to you. I'm not requiring it this year. Things have changed. The race director had changed a few things. There's going to be automatic scoring for the 40, 50, and 60. So the only other thing is the checkpoints and the aid stations that are not automatically reporting just need to do their best to write down the numbers as they go zooming by. So right now, no digital requirement. And actually, I'm going to say no digital requirement at all this year.
Okay, now I'll probably just bring an HT with a couple of batteries.
Okay, that'll work. And then I'll bring a couple. I have a couple HTs with some separate batteries too. So if you run out of juice, it will be that. So I don't know if you've been up at the ranch at all, or do you remember where we were set up last year?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so it's literally right over the edge as you're looking towards the mountain. So that's how close we're going to be. It's going to be in walking distance. So if I can't get another operator, I'm just going to have Chris tag team with you, and so we can get you some breaks.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
If something comes up, and if you happen to hear somebody that might be interested, let me know. I will continue to look up until I get it filled. Thanks, Henry, for your time, and thanks for volunteering. We'll talk again soon. W9GRG.
Fantastic. K7AL.
I could look at him when he was running. I go, man, that guy's a crook. I just tell you, he's a crook.
Now with your FCC call sign and your name.
K7TEJ, Rick.
K7TEJ, Rick, and what do you have for the net tonight?
Good evening, Andrew. Everyone on the net. I realized it was about 5-10 minutes late into the start, so I'm a late check-in there. I was actually outside setting up my satellite station for a pass of AO92 later tonight. It's in LV mode, so it'll be the uplink will be on the 1.2 gigahertz band. Hopefully, I'll be able to finally get some marking, make a contact or two on LV. That's basically what I've got right now. I don't know if I mentioned it last week on the net. I think I was having trouble getting through last week, but I've been back to work finally, so having a little less time to play with the birds. Just as soon as I start to really get back into it, of course, I got to go back to work. I'm going to end up missing the QSO party. I've got another commitment with the theater this weekend, but maybe in the morning time or anything, I'll listen for you guys. And to Bob, we're looking for VHF frequencies out. I'm not sure, but you may actually try 144.41. A lot of the Phoenix soda people hang out there. You might get a couple of contacts with some guys on the hills around Phoenix. With that, I'll turn it back to that K7TEJ.
Thanks for that, Rick. And that, once again, brings us to the bottom of the list. Anyone else who would like to check in, call now with your FCC call sign and your name. Silence means it's time to head back up to the top and see if anyone has anything else. We'll start with KD7FBI. Gary, anything more?
KD7FBI. No, don't have anything more for you, Andrew. I appreciate taking the net, and you do a great job. This KD7FBI back to the net.
This is KF7 CCC Net Control for the Thunderbird Amateur Radio Club Tuesday Night Net. And next on the list, KC9 BDO. Jonathan, anything more for you?
You like it? I don't know what happened to Brent. He just eats the hottest stuff there is, just to get attention, I think. Is that right, Brent?
Nothing else, Andrew. And unfortunately, 60 meters, there are no basic awards for 60 meters, so I had nothing to work for, but just your own pride. I Actually, I need 3 confirmations in 4 states, and I'd be all done with work all states on 60 meters. Did a lot last winter. But it's back up and running, and it was busy. What sparked my interest, there was some good DX on it this morning, and I couldn't get it to work. So it spent the day getting it to work. Back to you, Andrew. KF7 Charlie 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 on JHE.
Very good. Sometimes it's the things you're proud of are the best things, not the ones where there's a certificate at the end. K7RQN, Robert, how about you?
K7RQN there, Andrew. Robert here. Nope, that's about it. Just, like I say, getting ready to go up to Flagstaff and enjoy the much cooler weather. And that's about it. So we'll look forward to the net next week. This is Robert, K7RQN. 730, Andrew.
7-3. I understand this week we may see snow in Utah, so I don't know what it's going to be like in Flagstaff, but hopefully not too much cool. Next, AD0X. Joe, how about you? Anything more?
Nothing tonight. Good talking to you guys and hearing what's going on in the QSO. I'm not going to be able to make it up to Flag this year. But it's good for skiing, I guess, up there. It's going to be good for the economy up there. So this is AD0X signing clear.
Thank you, Joe. Next, KI7, LIK. Douglas, what about you? Anything else? KI7, HCQ. Nick, how about you? Anything more?
Nick, I got nothing else. Back to that.
All right, that brings us to KB7 HQD. Robert, how about you?
Yeah, thank you for hosting that tonight. Again, just checking the weather maps for propagation I didn't know about, and it confirmed a lot of things that in the past I suspected it. I just didn't have a map or paperwork or the data to prove it. Some things worked that I suspected, and other things are, oh, I guess that doesn't work. KB7 AQD, back to that.
Thank you for that, Robert. And last on the list, K7 TEJ. Rick, how about you? Anything more from you?
Not really, Andrew. Go direct to K7RQN.
K7RQN, call K7TEJ.
Rick, K7TEJ, K7RQN. Good evening.
Hey, Robert, just want to check if you got my QSL card. You sent it out last week, K7TEJ.
Yeah, Rick, that's a long time confirmation. Yeah, thanks again. Hey, good luck on the bird tonight, okay? And we'll talk about it. Well, I guess I'll be up at Flagstaff, and we'll be gone for another week after that, so I'll try to work the birds in between where we're at. Maybe we'll catch you on it. K7TEJ, K7RQN. Thanks, Rick. Good evening.
Oh, yeah, thanks a lot, Bobby. Maybe you can put a couple of rare grids if you're going to be up in the northeast part of the state. Get a couple of rare grids on the air. Let me know. Email me something what you're going to be if you're going to try, and I can get them on Twitter, and you probably end up getting a pilot.
Yeah, Rick, you have a good evening. K7RQN, we're clear.
Okay, Andrew, back to net, K7TEJ.
And that brings us to the last on the list once more. If there's anyone else out there who would like to check in, call now with your FCC call sign and your name. join us every Tuesday night on these repeaters starting at 7:30 p.m. And don't forget the next club meeting at 7 p.m. on the third Thursday of the month, and our Saturday morning breakfast at Denny's on Westvale Road starting at 7 a.m. on the first Saturday of the month. Directions and details are on the club website, w7tbc.org. That's Whiskey 7, Tango Bravo Charlie, decimal Oscar Romeo Golf, or w7thunderbirdclubs.org. This is Net Control for this evening, now returning these repeaters to their regular use. Thank you, and good evening. KF7CCC.
This is a directed net and is held every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on the 147.200 repeater on Pinal Peak. The repeater has a positive offset with a 162.2 tone. First off, is there any emergency or priority traffic? Hearing nothing. If you have any emergency or priority traffic, please just say break, break, and we'll help you in any way we can. For more information about Skywarn, you can visit AZ Skywarn in Yahoo groups. The format for this net. First, we will have our roll call of train spotters. Next, a call for late or missed spotters. Then a chance for visitors to check in, and then we will allow time for comments and questions. When calling, please give your low and your high temps. First on my list, I have Attila W7AMR.
Evening, 72104. W7EMR.
Thank you, Attila. Next, I have N7ARN Dick. WF7D Terry.
Copy figures 63.3 and 9er7.5. WF7D.
Thank you, Terry. Next we have N0DAJ. Doug.
Good evening. Figures 60.6, 93.2. And 0 DAJ Wickenburg.
Thank you, Doug. Next we have KE7EJF Dennis. K7ESQ John.
Evening, from Southeast Gilbert, 61.2 and 94.7. K7ESQ.
Thank you, John. Next we have N7GKG Ed.
Good evening. In Tempe, we had a low of 71, a high of 94. N7GKG.
Next is me, and I didn't get my low, but my high was 104. So next we have Ken, N4PBY.
Yeah, good evening. Up here in Fort Northeast Mesa, the low was 69. And the high was hopefully the last three digits. Temperature for the year, 100 degrees in 4 PBY.
Thank you, Ken. Next we have Steve, KB7QHP.
Good evening. I had 66 and 96. KB7QHP.
VEQ. Barry.
Good evening, everyone. Fellow spotters out here. Tempe 62.1 and 97.8. KC7 VEQ.
Thank you, Barry. Next is AB7WP. Roger.
Good evening, this is AB7WP. We had a low of 67 and a high of 97. AB7WP, back to net.
Thank you, Roger. And finally we have KB7ZDX. Billy. Okay, that's at the bottom of my list. Are there any train spotters that I have missed?
This is KI7KI. Checking in. Haven't been in there for a while.
WB788.
Kilo 7, Echo Delta Tango.
KI7KDH.
Okay, we'll hold it right there for a minute. I think the first one was KD7YEG. Is that correct?
That is correct. This is Dave in Northwest Chandler, and I had a 63 followed by a 93. KD7YEG.
Thank you, Dave. And I think I heard Arturo, WB7ATA.
You heard me right. I better admit, I had a low of 66 and high of 100, WB788.
Okay, thank you, sir. And we have Ed, K7EDT.
We'll let that ID slide by there. And in Northwest Gilbert, well, we had 63.1 and a 906.9er. K7EDT.
Oh, here we go. And then we have Bob, KI7KDH. Bob.
Good evening. It's been a while since I've been on here. I had a low this morning of 64 at a high of 93. KI7KDH clear.
Hey, Bob. Anyone else I've missed? Before we take visitors, I'm going to hand it over to Ken for any words of wisdom he had for us in 4PBY. Are you available for us?
Yes, sir, and good evening, everybody. Nice, very quiet weather pattern. Things get shaken up just a little bit here in another day or two, as we have a very, very vigorous low-pressure cold air front basically coming through, and it's going to bring a lot cooler air, so we're going to have a big drop down, at least for a day or two until that air mass gets modified a bit. I believe, if I remember right, it looked like it's coming through Thursday early afternoon or so, I believe. So you should see a very notable wind shift with stronger, much cooler air mass coming in. Not going to bring pretty much any solid chance of precipitation. So it's basically just going to be a cold air push coming through. And whenever you have dry, humid But still, we should see our highs drop down into the 80s and even some lows all the way into the 50s. And I took a careful look at Friday morning, and we will have what we call a downslope event. And for those of us who live like where I do, up in the eastern part of the valley, up near the mountains, we can expect some what we call catabatic downslope winds, especially Friday morning. So it might get breezy, and watch out for those trash cans if you live in this area. I'm not sure how if it'll actually mix all the way down to some of the lower desert areas, but certainly it should be quite noticeable, especially for the folks that are a little higher terrain. So that's going to be the excitement for the next few days. Nothing else really on the timetable after that. Temperature's going to start to moderate pretty quickly, climb back up, maybe into about the low 90s or so by the weekend. I think that's all I've got. So just remind everybody, October 24th is a special Buckeye spotter training class. So if you want to catch up and you're behind on going to spotter classes, I encourage you to try to hit that class. All for now, back to net and for BBY.
Thank you, Ken, very much. And I'll strap down my trash can for next few days. And do we have any visitors or late or missed spotters? This is AF7OS. Do we have anyone with questions for Ken? Well, hearing nothing, remember that Skywarn may be activated by the National Weather Service at any time if the conditions warrant. I want to say thanks to all who have checked in, and a big thank you to the Arizona Repeater Association for the use of this repeater. I now return this repeater to normal amateur use, 73, and good night. This is AF7OS.
The guys I was playing against got his foot stuck in my spoke, and when you stick your foot in the spoke, the front wheel stops turning, and the rest of the bike doesn't. Excuse me. So I ended up going over top of the bike, doing a complete somersault, and landing on my back on the asphalt parking lot. And lucky for me, I didn't get hurt, resilient child, but the very first thing I did was check my watch to make sure my watch wasn't broke, because the day before was my birthday and it was a brand new watch, and I wanted to make sure it didn't get broken. And lucky for me it didn't, and everything was fine, so no injury to report, but that's probably the dumbest thing we've probably ever did. Let me break for the alligator. Okay, as far as Danny's Planet goes, Danny's Planet is called Panatellesia. Panatellesia. And one of the things that Danny didn't mention is the two beautiful moons that revolve around his planet. And moon number 1 was named Stogia, and moon number 2 is named Havanata. And his system, his planet, revolves around a multiple star system called Corona Perfecto Prime. I'm kind of surprised he left that out, but maybe they didn't name the system either. But that's what I believe the name of his planets and moons and star system should be. Back to you, Granty, WO7C.
Gotta love that. Stogia. I was trying to think of names myself, and I had Corona. But Stogia is so much better. And of course, you've given him the the other names. The Corona, whatever that was, Panatella. You've got and Habanista or whatever it was. Those are great. And I think Danny would, Danny, if you're listening, you'll have to pick out some of these when we finish there. I think Stogia, I think that's great. I love that. Let's see here. My next one's going to be Ray, I think. Ray, are you there listening? And tell us about a funny injury that you had. Wow, I've got some... I'm just looking at my own mail here, and somebody sent me this woman that got almost no clothes on. How did that happen? In any event, Ray, come on and talk to us and tell us what you think about about Danny's Planet, and about an amusing injury that you might have had.
You know, the weird things that have happened to me over the years are endless. As a youth, I'm just lucky to still be here, so I won't bore you with all of those. Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to start. I used to fall off of horses. I was riding down the hill on my bicycle, and the chain came off, which meant I had no front brake, and I had to stick my foot in between the tire and the forks to get it to stop because I was heading for a very, very busy road. But I survived all that stuff, so that's the only thing that counts. Yeah, you guys got it all wrong on Danny's Planet. Yeah, he comes from a planet called Henronius. It's in the Cigar Galaxy, and it rotates around a binary star called Whiskerius. And anyway, it's really a neat place, kind of unique. The star is unique in that particular solar system and the galaxy, and actually within the universe, because it not only emits the regular sun rays that normal stars do, but it emits the smell of sardines and anchovies. And anybody that lives there on this planet, which is only 10% water and 90% tobacco farms, but the lakes are absolutely loaded with fish. You don't need a bait. All you have to do is get some kind of little... They sell these little sponge devices that pick up the anchovy and sardine smells, and you just throw it out there, and all of a sudden, I mean, you are inundated with fish. You don't need anything but just a little sponge and a line. So anyway, it was formerly colonized by the Klingapoos, but they all became extinct because they inhaled the tobacco. Danny's group just puffed on them, so they've taken over the planet. So anyway, let's see, what else have I got here? That ought to be enough foolishness for tonight. Back to you, Granty, W0IBB.
I have no idea what you're smoking, Ray, but I wish you'd pass it around. And thank you. That's as amusing as Danny's. The Klingapoos got wiped out. Oh, that's a sad story in itself. We should follow extinction of the civilizations at some point. Roger, I think you were next on my list here. That's true. Come on in.
I guess so. I was laughing too hard at Ray's explanation. Now, it wasn't an accident. Well, yeah, it was an accident. When I first got here, I was we were in a single-wide mobile home. Whitish rugs in the back room where I had my computer and radio set up. And I was hooking up a network cable. And the desk that they left had a couple of sharp edges underneath. In fact, I still have it. And I had the cable in hand. I was almost getting ready to move my head into a different position, and I felt the crutch. And then I felt the wet, and I'm thinking, oh, the rug. Mila, quick, get a wet towel. Anyway, there she is holding my head, and I'm not letting go of that cable. I'm just about there. I plug in the cable, look, I put the towel off my head. I go, there's a flap of skin on my skull. I said, oh, that's going to hurt. I take it, rip it off. And we get it cleaned up, get the bleeding to stop, and slap a Band-Aid on. And I'm still laughing about that sight today. But you know, I got that network cable plugged into the back of the computer. And as far as the Danny's planet, Kronos, that is actually the main capital world of the Klingon Empire. It's also known as Klingazne or just Klin. So anyway, the short name for that is Kronos. AB7 WP. Back to that.
Thanks, Roger. That's funny. Yeah, Kronos. Well, it's about time somebody italicized crime. It's about time. It's about time somebody came up with that. Thanks, Roger. And Rich, thanks for coming in. I appreciate that. Tell us about a funny injury you have. And Danny desperately needs a name for his planet. So can you help us out? Rich and MDQ. This is Randy at K7GTY. Are you there?
Sorry, yeah, I was reading an email about from April Kramer on, I guess, a program for the November 4th. It's going to be some guy who, I guess, a club member who won a trip on Queen Elizabeth II over to England, then came back on the Concorde. And he's going to have a DVD showing the trip, so that should be interesting. Sorry, I missed you calling my name or my number or my calls. Anyway, I missed my turn. I think Peter's Planet is a good one. Let's just leave it at that. Nice and simple, easy to remember, and that would be my suggestion. I don't think there are any duplicates around, so I think we're safe on that score. Okay, thanks, Grant, very much for taking the net. W7MDQ, back to you.
And thank you, Rich. Did you have any amusing injuries that you perpetrated on yourself that you'd like to share with us?
Well, you mean the war, the Vietnam War?
Well, I'm looking for something not too serious. An injury that you suffered that you perpetrated yourself that was sort of ridiculous, something you shouldn't have done. As you may have heard if you've been listening. As I say, I kicked a bat. I thought it was just a blanket there, and it was actually a steel post to it. And I very much regretted that. You've had some others that talk about things they did that they ended up with different results than they thought they were going to. And I wondered if you had any such injuries.
Well, I'm sure there's one kicking around. Nothing comes to mind, so let me just take a pass on that. Thanks, Grant. W7MDQ, back to you.
Okay, Rich, thanks for checking in. And with that, Rich was the bottom of my present list. Looking for some more checker-inners tonight on the West Valley Amateur Radio Club's call-in net. This is Granty at K7GTY. We're asking two questions tonight. And that's some sort of an injury you did to yourself, or something like that, which was unexpected, humorous, and just what you deserved. And we're also tonight, we're trying to help out our buddy Andy. Andy lives, as you all know, in the Cigar Galaxy, which is millions of light years away, but he teleports back and forth between there and here because he has a vacation home up there, which he retreats to every now and then. When the sunspots get too violent here, he checks out and heads up for his home planet. But it doesn't have a name yet. It's like our planet, which is Earth, which sort of sounds like it just means soil or ground. It doesn't. It means more than that. But anyway, Earth is kind of a simple name. I mean, the others get these names like Mars and Jupiter and Saturn. We could have done better than that. In any event, looking for Danny's help tonight. We need a name for his planet. With that, I'm looking for some more checker inners. Please come now.
WA6 PNJ, Ed.
Good evening, WA6 PNJ. This is Granty. Tell me, Ed, the first question had to do with something that you might have injured, how you might have injured yourself, hurt yourself, or in some way discomforted yourself in a humorous way that you didn't mean to do at all. And the second question, the more important one that we're dealing with tonight, Ed, is a serious one. Danny lives on a planet far, far away. Millions of light years, which is nothing to him because he's an alien and he teleports back and forth. It's almost instantaneous for him. But alas, he does not know the name of his planet. His planet apparently doesn't have the language that supports naming things like that. They have lots of consonants and verbs. They ran out of nouns, apparently, and they have and they have no name for his planet. So we need some help there, Ed. I need, first of all, to talk about anything that you might have done to you, but more importantly, we want to talk about poor Danny's planet. What's the name of it, do you think? Over to you, Ed.
Good evening, Grant. Oh, what fun. We sure appreciate you taking the net. Let's see, various and sundry injuries. I started off pretty early. Let's see, there was the gasoline engine on the tricycle, gasoline-powered lawnmower, the gasoline-powered washing machine. I guess nobody was seriously injured by that one. The front brake on the old mini bike. I couldn't get that thing stopped very easily, so I figured what I needed was another brake on the front wheel. Shortly after that, I discovered when the front wheel is locked, you can't steer anymore. That information was duly noted, I suppose. I keep flashing across my dad telling me when I was very young not to get near the spark plug wires while the engine's running. All the fans and fan belts and all the moving parts are all up in the front of the engine. What would be the harm in... Youch! Good rule, Dad. Anyway, we'll probably leave it at that. Let me break for the alligator here. And WA6PNJ for ID. Having heard the description that multiple suns like that would be referred to as a white owl system. We'll call it the Muriel solar system. From what I understand, life originally evolved on the third planet in the system. That the sulfur from all the match heads used to light the cigars contaminated the atmosphere and made it somewhat acidic. They colonized the fourth planet, that from the planet Rembrandt to the planet Van Gogh. There's a couple of the Dutch masters. We'll try Van Gogh and see what that does. I'm glad to know the society is doing as well as it is. And we sure would wish Danny a pleasant evening. What else do I have? I have a little history lesson here when you're ready for it. Here's WA6PNJ.
Well, good. We got a Van Gogh, a Rembrandt and a Van Gogh out of you. So that's and the White Owl. Well, I think White Owl isn't a bad name for the planet at all. depending on sort of what it looks like. But Danny, we've got a white owl suggestion for you. My grandfather, we gave those to him. Now, mind you, I'm in my 80s. He died in his 80s. And that was when I was in college, I guess. So it was about 60 years ago. But he always smoked white owl. He would sit up in his room at night, and the windows of his room were all sort of bluish. You could see it from the street because he sat up there smoking, watching wrestling, which he thought was serious. He took it seriously. He thought those guys were seriously wrestling, and he loved it, and he watched it every night with those cigars of his. And for Christmas, we'd give him a couple of boxes of white owls, and he would always pretend to be surprised by that, and those were just what he wanted. And indeed, they were just what he wanted, because white owls were I don't know that he had sophisticated taste, because I don't know anything about cigars. But anyway, he liked those, and he had those all of his life, as far as I knew. So white owl, I think that'd probably be a great name for a planet. In any event, and as far as locking up your front wheels and not steering, I found that out to my great discomfiture. I had a sports car break, and I was in New England, and we have these days out there where you get this icy sort of slick on roads, where you've got some snow, but you got some rain and you got some ice there, and so we at one point we were allowed to have studs on our tires. Maybe they still do, I don't know. So I went into I had a rear-wheel drive car, the Porsche 911, and I went into the guy that serviced it, and I told him I wanted studs all the way around. These steel studs on all my tires. You don't want them on the front tires. I said, yeah, I do. I want this thing to stop like a cat. And I said, well, I'm sure it'll work out. So the first time I took that out on a rainy day, without much ice, and hit those brakes, the front wheels just kept going the same way they were going. It wouldn't turn at all. Those things just slid. I drove the thing right back to him. Put those in reserve. We'll use those next year for another set of the rears. They're right. If your front wheels don't turn, you'll go straight. This is Granty. I'm looking for some more checker inners tonight. We are tonight helping Danny, our valued club member, as Ed says about our birthday people, to name his planet. As many of you know, Danny commutes. He teleports between Sun City, or Surprise rather, and the Messier 82 is the name of his cigar galaxy. And yet the planet, the actual planet that Danny lives on, is not yet named. So we're doing that for him tonight, and we need your help. Come on in and help us. This is K7GTY. We've still got time.
Give 7 easy, Adam.
Good evening, Adam. Have you heard what we're talking about, Adam? What might you suggest for Andy? Got Andy on my mind because I got him on my computer here on my mail. And Danny, what would you suggest for Danny with the name of his planet?
Well, I think the name of Danny's planet is Happy for Tobacco, which is how he got his call sign. And I hear that he's no longer an alien. He got his green card. And as far as the injuries go, I once ended up in a bunch of cactus, which resulted in over 100 needles in my posterior. No fun. KF7 easy.
Oh man, yeah, that's the thing about stumbling around out here in Arizona. You know, in Connecticut, where I came from, stumbling around might get you into poison ivy or something, but it certainly didn't get you into cactus. Yeah, well, I'm sure that was an unhappy moment for you with 100 spines in your spine, as it were. Yeah, I came out of the West LA hospital about 2 years ago. Elizabeth was spending the night there, and I parked my car in the parking lot at a particular spot. I came out, and I walked in a beeline towards that car, not on the paths, not on the little cement roads they have, or paths they have. I walked in a sort of a straight line to it, and came up on a curb for one of the walkways, and I stumbled over it. I had put a brand new, and I mean it was out of the box brand new, shirt that she had bought for me. And I put that on to go over there and see her that night because I knew she would appreciate me wearing that shirt that she had bought me. It was silk. And I tripped over that and did a header right into sort of one of these round cactus, these globe-shaped things. I caught it on my chest and on my face. And I just lay there, and I felt so hurt and ashamed and stupid. I just wanted to lie there, and some guy came running over and said, "Can I help you?" And I wanted to say, "No, I'm stupid. Just leave me here." This is what stupid people do. But he insisted on getting me up. My shirt was ripped, and I didn't tell Elizabeth about it. Just brought it home and put it in the back of the closet. So, and that was humiliating. Not so funny. It's humiliating. Now I laugh about it because of the way I felt. In any event, thanks, Adam, for coming in. And I think Happy Tobacco is just fine. I think you told me that yesterday or this morning, and I think that's a good name. With that, Adam is now the last person on my list. I'm looking for some more checker entries. Give us a name for our buddy Danny, and help us out here. This is Randy for K7G2A. Come now.
KG7 EZP, Dave Yuma.
Good evening, Juma Dave. I tried to bring you up earlier. Come on in. We're talking about two things tonight, as you may have recalled or seen, heard, whatever. Maybe you heard this on the evening news. We're talking about Danny's home planet. As you know, Danny lives in the Cigar Galaxy, which is several million light years away, but he teleports back and forth. It's a vacation place he has. It's a large unit that he has there. It's several thousand square feet. It looks over this sulfurous lake that he has. And we also want to know about an injury that you might have had at some point with some humors, or in some way notable, and not serious, but something you might share with us. What do you think? And give us an egg count too. I know you're having problems. These chickens all moldy. When they molt, do you save the feathers and sell those for pillows?
KG7 EZP. I guess you could, but they land on the dirt and everything. You have to clean them and all that good stuff. And some people are allergic to feathers, so I don't know. That's an interesting concept. Let's see. No eggs today. We got one that's broody. She wants to sit on the nest box, but no eggs. And we have no roosters, so that's a futile attempt. But she wants to be on that nest. She won't eat. She'll stay there. Davey has to bring food to her. So for anybody who wants to make a friend of a chicken, bring them raw peanuts, shelled, and they absolutely love it. And about everything comes to mind as far as Danny. Either Swiss Sweet or the White Owl Nebula. I'm going to go with that. And, what I did stupid. Oh, I've done a lot of things stupid. Well, I guess about the stupidest thing I ever did, I was over at a friend's house. We were sitting against the door. I went straight up and hit the doorknob and broke my collarbone when I was a kid. That's one of the stupidest things. I've got to think of something else. I did, it wasn't funny, but guy left turned in front of me on Bethany Home and Central, and I flew off the bike and landed on my head, cracked the helmet, and broke my wrist. It wasn't much funny, but anyway, that's the two dumbest things, I guess, I've ever done. And I think I got it all. Yeah, I don't think Danny likes Swiss sweets. Anyway, KG7 EZP, back to great people, great net.
I think the White Owl Nebula may be helpful. And yeah, anytime you're riding anything in two wheels, anything on four wheels is your natural enemy. And sort of vice versa. As a matter of fact, always, when I had my nicer cars, I always thought that bicycles were the natural enemy of cars. And because I had a kid came off across the yard, across a sidewalk, and then into the street, and came up behind a bus where I couldn't see him. The bus was pulling out and hit my Austin Healey. Didn't hurt my Healey all that much, and didn't hurt him at all. But I've always thought after that bicycles are the natural enemies of sports cars. In any event, this is Grant K7 GTY. Looking for some more checker inners. This is your evening call-in net for Tuesday, in the year of our Lord, the 8th day of October. And we still have a few minutes left before the witching hour here of 9 o'clock. Come on and talk to us and tell us what Danny should name his planet.
This is Daryl, NN0W.
Daryl of NN0W. What a great call sign. Tell us, Daryl, what should be the name of Danny's planet? What do you think? And tell us about some sort of a weird, strange, humorous event that may have resulted in an injury to you. What do you think?
Well, when I was in junior high, Buddy and I were into model rockets. And I was also into photography, and I was thinking, we could use a flash bulb as a nose cone, and when it ejected, the flash would go off. So we put this thing together with a battery and a capacitor and a spring-loaded micro switch and a flash bulb. And we went out about sunset and shot the thing off. It deployed, it did not go off, we recovered it, and while we were looking at it to see what was wrong, the flash went off, and we were blind for about 5 minutes. We had to sit down, because there was a launch rod there somewhere you could get skewered on. Danny's planet, I think I was by that place once, but I don't remember too much. Little town there. I got wasted away in Macanudoville. NN0W.
Macanudoville. Very good, Daryl. I've actually never been there. I'll have to ask Danny if he was ever at Macanudoville. Yeah, playing with rockets, little things like that explode and go up in the air. Yeah, I had a son that, I may have two sons, but I had one son that did that a lot. And we were always worried about that thing. I mean, I chased through other people's yards, about a mile and a quarter away from where we started out. Did that for all summer long once. He was always putting up in the air. And then we had to go, the wind would catch him and we had to go find him. He's now, I guess that worked all right. He's now a captain for Delta. And I'm sure he has a lot better control over his trajectory now than he did then. In any event, this is Grant K7GTY. I'm having a good time. I hope you are, and I would like to have some more checker inners. Gary, or anybody that's out there, come on in and talk to us and tell us what Danny should be naming that planet of his out in the Cigar Galaxy, which is a real galaxy, by the way. And it is Messier 82 is the technical name of that. And it's a galaxy that whatever our Skylabs will take pictures of it, and it's shaped like a cigar, which is exactly, of course, Danny's, what you call it, his cup of tea. This is Grant. Come on in and talk to us and tell us what Danny should be naming that planet. Okay, Ed, I think I have run out of people to play with tonight. Ed, why don't you come on in and tell us now what we should know about history on this day, and whose birthday is it today that we should know about?
Oh, let's see if I can do any good. It's October the 8th. The telegraph line between Los Angeles and San Francisco went into operation on this day in 1860. No telling what was said, but there you are. The first live broadcast of a football game was produced by KDKA in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on this day, 1921. And in 1944, The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet debuted on CBS Radio. If you know anybody having a birthday today, they share a birthday with the auto racer, World War I flying ace and industrialist, the original Fast Eddie, Edward Rickenbacker, born in 1890. Comedian, Australian comedian, and Crocodile Dundee, Paul Hogan, is 80 years old today. Civil rights leader Jesse Jackson is 78 years old now. Comedian Chevy Chase would be 76. Actress Sigourney Weaver is 70 years old now. She probably doesn't want anybody to know that. And actress Stephanie Zimbalist, Efren Zimbalist Jr.'s young daughter. She's 63 now. Here, that ought to make everybody feel old. And our own valued club members. N7YKM, Bruce, and KA7B, Calvin, are both a year more experienced today. We certainly hope they're having a happy birthday. And that seems to be the extent of it. If I get any good news, I'll have to call you back. Thanks again for taking the net, Grant. We sure appreciate that, and a sunshiny day to everyone, of course. Here is WA6PNJ.
Thank you, Ed. If anybody has any questions of Ed, I'd like you to come on and go directly to Ed right now.
Ed, you mentioned something about the trivia there about rockets and stuff like that. Did I get that wrong, or what did you say about that? And I'll give you what I think I can give you. Okay, 6DVZ.
Rockets and stuff. Auto racer, World War I flying ace and industrialist. That was Eddie Rickenbacker.
Any other questions?
Yep. Whoops. I'll ride coattails with whoever's right. KA6DVZ. Back to that.
All right, Ed, thank you very much. Eddie Rickenbacker also became, I looked this up, president of Eastern Airlines. Head of it in some respect. I forgot. I think he was president of that. I'm trying to look it up. I can't see it right now, but I know he was involved with that at the end of towards the end of his life. Are there any other questions for Ed tonight? And with that, I'm going to make a last call for checker inners. This is Brandy at your West Valley Amateur Radio Club calling net Tuesday night, October, what is it, the 8th. if you want to come in and talk to us, come on in and talk to us. We are talking tonight about what name Danny might give to the planet he lives on in the galaxy, the Cigar Galaxy. Hearing none, I'm going to now revert back to our opening speaker, and that's Danny himself. In from the Cigar Galaxy. He's here tonight. He's amongst us. Danny, have you been listening? And amongst those names that you've heard or have made of yourself, what name might you have chosen for your planet on the Cigar Galaxy?
Well, Grant, I've consulted with my family and the elders and the tribal leaders from my planet, and they all said they would be completely honored if you would choose that name. Anyway, Granty, it's all yours. You decide. Thank you.
Well, I'll have to go through my notes here. I like the Panatella. Larry gave me the Panatalicia. I think I like Panatalicia. I think Larry, that's a pretty good name. And we had some others too. We had the tobacco, Bacca Tobacco, whatever that was, Happy Tobacco by Adam, came up with that. I think maybe I would go with Panatalicia. I think that's that probably does it pretty. Of course, he also had the moons for you. He had some moons for you. One was he had a moon for you, Stogia. I think that's I think I'm pronouncing that right. I think that works out pretty well for a Cigar Galaxy. In any event, I thank you all for humoring me tonight, humoring each other tonight, and Danny. It's certainly been an enjoyable net for me, and that is only meant to be pleasant for you. Danny, we really, it turns out, don't have the authority to name planets. I checked with Ed earlier about the scope of my authority here as a net control, and it turns out it doesn't even extend beyond the block I live in, let alone the Earth, let alone the solar system, let alone the galaxy. But even with that, I mean, we can make up a name as well as anybody else. If we make it up and say that's what it is, that's what it is. All we have to do is draw a star chart, and you've probably got a star chart of your own galaxy. Andy, I gotta believe that. Go to Google, not Earth, but go to Google Messier 82 or Google Cigar Galaxy. Find your planet and tag it Panatalicia, and you've got Havanata and Stogia as some of your moons, and you're all set. It's yours. You can colonize that with the little Dannies or whatever, and I think you can start selling real estate there. Call Rich. Call Rich. And, I don't know what he charges for percentage on, outer space stuff like that. But if you give the entire planet, I think you can get it down to 5% at least. So with that, I'm going to close the net tonight. Thank you all for participating with us tonight. Look forward to seeing you again next week at the same time and station. And with that, I wish 73 to all good night and good luck. And I'm returning this repeater to its normal amateur use right now.